Okay, so our situation enemy. The SVBID threat and suicide bomber threat still remains high in the AO. Over the past few days, we've had multiple source reports of 2 times suicide bombers operating in the vicinity of Camp Nathan Smith. They're identified as approximately 15, 16-year-olds on motorcycles.
Let them know we're headed south down the canal route. South down canal route. 043, a message over. 43, heading south on canal route, over. It's a different area. I mean, I've never really been outside of Canada. See the world, see what is going on over here, and I mean, try to help, right? Try to do my part instead of just being a guy sitting at home watching my friends go overseas. Go over and try to help them, be there for them.
Sean Davis is one of 72,000 foreign troops in Afghanistan. The 24-year-old comes from Toronto and is serving in Kandahar. A few hundred Canadians have already died, most of them in roadside bombings. Canada is the worst affected country within the NATO-directed ISAF force here in Afghanistan.
You don't really think about the dangers. Even if you do see things, you don't really comprehend. I mean, you're doing your job, and that's the bottom line. There's no fear, there's no like shakiness about it. As soon as you leave the gate, it's game on, right?
I mean, to me, all these briefings in the mornings you hear, they're pretty dramatic, though. I mean, isn't that sort of nagging on your mind a little bit?
No. I mean, most of us really try not to think about it, but even when we do think about it or are forced to think about it, it's not, I mean, if it's your time, I guess.
Would you say that this is a war?
Absolutely, without question it's a war. It's a counterinsurgency war, but it's certainly a war.
I mean, in comparison to Vietnam, Korea, Second World War for that matter, it's not much of a war, is it?
I wouldn't agree. No, we're a counterinsurgency is a low-level conflict, but it's still a conflict. In our area of operations, there are gunfights, gun battles, virtually every day.
We're on patrol duty with the Canadians. This is the first patrol duty since they arrived in September. We're walking in a circle surrounded by Canadian soldiers and with Afghan troops in the front and in the back. It feels a bit surreal to be walking here. Being on patrol duty is very rare. Usually it looks like this.
All the time the Canadians and the ISAF troops, they're telling to the local people that you should not come near to us. So a lot of the people are scaring from them. Now they're scared from, they're not going near to them. They think they will shoot us, and many times this kind of things happen. A lot of civilians killed by this because their vehicles were passing, and when they come near, so they are shooting them.
This is why suicide attacks are so effective, because not only does the attack have a terror impact, but it also forces us to adopt the tactics you see here on the street.
But you don't see a way of avoiding this?
No, there's no way to avoid it. So either we would then become victims.
The invasion of Afghanistan was a result of the terror attacks on September 11, 2001 in the United States. So isn't this, after all, an American war? A war that other countries have been forced to participate in?
Is this Canada's war?
At least 30 Canadians had died in the Twin Towers in New York. And there have been Canadians that have been the victims of terrorism in other parts of the world. And Osama bin Laden himself named 6 Western nations as being principal targets, and amongst those was Canada.
The United States is a superpower. It's got all the resources in the world. You're able to put man on the moon. Why can't you tackle a couple of thousands hardcore insurgents? Doesn't make any sense, does it?
That makes perfect sense. The Taliban doesn't have anything to defend. They don't own anything. They don't defend anything. They simply run in, strike, and run away.
They all look the same.
Completely faceless enemy.
Yeah.
They have no uniforms. You know, one minute they're shooting at us, the next minute they're raking their field with a rake, so we can't tell the difference at all.
Någonstans där ute finns
The enemy
fienden.
is somewhere out there,
Men
but the enemy
fienden
doesn't have
har
any
ingen
uniforms and
uniform.
no headquarters.
Fienden
And the
har
enemy
inget
is not
högkvarter.
available for
Och fienden
negotiations.
är ingen man förhandlar med. Fienden
The enemy
finns
is living
mitt
among
bland
the
människorna.
people
De här
these young
unga
soldiers are trying to
soldaterna ska
help.
försöka hjälpa.
Friend or enemy? No one
Vän eller
knows until a
fiende.
roadside
Och
bomb
det vet de
explodes
först
or a
när en
suicide bomber
vägbomb
detonates
exploderar.
its charge.
Eller en självmordsbombare utlöser sin laddning.
Their mentality is my hardest thing to understand is you know, why they're fighting for their cause, like what they're believing in so strongly that they want to do this. It's so hard to understand, like, why they are the way they are, you know? Assalamu alaikum. Sangaye?
The world outside these thick concrete walls is completely different from the one inside. Here you'll find a gym and 3-course dinners every night. The satellite telephone erases the distance between Kandahar and Toronto.
It didn't snow too much, did it? How much snow did you get? Really? Oh wow, that's not cool.
You're having blueberry pie here, good food, you're having internet. Is this really a war, according to you?
That's a hard question. Do I feel that it's a war? I do believe there is a war out those walls, yeah.
But you haven't had any combat experience yet here.
Am I allowed to answer that?
If you've been involved in a TIC, just give any details.
Well, we've been shot at. I mean, every day you hear bullets ringing over your head and things like that. And our company has found a lot of, you know, come across a lot of bad things.